In late 2023, a customer logged onto a Chevrolet dealership's website, opened the support chat, and walked away with a legally binding agreement to purchase a $60,000 SUV for exactly $1. Shortly after, the European parcel delivery service DPD had to disable its own artificial intelligence after the bot began swearing at customers and cheerfully declaring its parent company the worst delivery firm in the world. The National Eating Disorders Association deployed a chatbot to replace its human helpline, only to take it offline days later when the system started generating dangerous calorie restriction advice to vulnerable patients. This shifting gauge chart shows exactly why companies are rushing to deploy these systems, despite the severe risks. When an automated interaction fails, 38% of consumers blame the brand directly. Only 14% blame the software vendor. Corporate executives are purchasing these language models using the same procurement process they use for standard database software, but the public interacts with these models as if they are direct, authorized representatives of the company. Shoppers don't care about the API provider or the vendor contract operating behind the scenes. When a chatbot hallucinates a policy or insults a user, the deploying enterprise absorbs all of the reputational damage. Traditional software architecture, like a secure customer database, functions by maintaining a strict, impenetrable wall between the system's operating instructions and the user's inputted data. This diagram reveals the fatal flaw of large language models: prompt injection. Safe blue system rules and red untrusted inputs mix into one stream. Watch the red input block overwrite the blue rule block. The command "ignore previous instructions" instantly overrides the brand's intended guardrails. Even without malicious input, these systems suffer from context drift. Over the course of a long conversation, the model can lose its factual anchoring and begin confidently hallucinating outdated policies or fictional product features. These blind spots cause unauthorized discounts, produce highly toxic language, and severe compliance violations that instantly become PR crises. Because a language model cannot separate foundational rules from casual dialogue, treating it like a standard, secure IT asset is a massive miscalculation. An unguarded model acts less like a software program and more like a highly unpredictable employee. Despite this unpredictability, the typical corporate procurement process for artificial intelligence remains heavily siloed. Data engineers evaluate the models for speed, while the legal team drafts indemnification clauses to limit financial liability. The executives strictly responsible for managing the customer relationship, the chief marketing officer and their team, are routinely excluded from these governance conversations entirely. Standard vendor contracts are excellent at protecting the company's balance sheet against server downtime or internal data breaches. They offer absolutely zero defense against a viral screen recording of a chatbot destroying a brand's credibility. The legal abstraction separating a brand from its software vendor collapsed completely during the recent Moffat versus Air Canada civil tribunal. Air Canada argued that its chatbot was a separate legal entity responsible for its own actions, and therefore the airline shouldn't have to honor a hallucinated refund policy. The court explicitly rejected the defense and held the airline fully liable for the bot's commitments. Global regulatory bodies, backed by frameworks like the EU AI Act, are enforcing this exact standard across the board. If you deploy an automated system, you own its mistakes. Treating artificial intelligence deployment as an isolated IT checklist item rather than a core brand governance decision leaves the entire enterprise legally and reputationally exposed. To survive this shift, artificial intelligence must be governed at the brand level. Marketing leadership has to demand an active seat at the procurement table before any consumer-facing model goes live. This requires a cross-functional governance committee where legal, IT, and brand teams co-design risk frameworks from day one. Marketing leaders must define specific failure modes up front, establish what constitutes a toxic interaction, and build clear grievance redressal mechanisms when systems fail. The engineering team must then implement intent-based bidirectional filtering. This creates a security layer that catches malicious prompt injections going into the model and intercepts off-brand hallucinations before they reach the customer. For high-stakes operations, companies must enforce a strict boundary. An automated agent should never hold final, unreviewed authority over irreversible actions, like adjusting prices, issuing refunds, or dispensing legal advice. A mandatory human-in-the-loop escalation protocol has to be hard-coded into the workflow. If a user's request exceeds the model's safe operational boundaries, the system must seamlessly transfer the conversation to a human representative. The organizations that successfully navigate the artificial intelligence revolution will be led by marketing executives who understand a simple truth. An autonomous agent is a powerful brand representative that never sleeps, and it never stops needing supervision.